Oh, I have things to say tonight. This is Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake. But not too many things left, actually. I've always just really wanted to get to the place where I could own my stuff. Where I wasn't making apologies, I wasn't feeling guilty, I wasn't feeling embarrassed or ashamed. And I really could give a crap what people thought. Just have your thoughts, it's fine. I totally get it if you're all freaked out by it. And the truth of the matter is that as things progress, I mean, it's pretty obvious, anybody sitting next to me, that I have deep thoughts and, just whatever. That I'm kind of unusual. And I was talking to my friend Melissa. I said, hey, today I asked her, hey, would you be willing to just describe me? Well, how would you describe me? I was shocked by what she had to say. She described me as being kind of a velvet hammer, of being brutally and gently, I think she said, honest or something. I don't know. Some of the things she said just shocked me. It's like, really? I'm that? Cool. But she said, it was really kind of hard to be around you from time to time because you beat yourself up so much. And I used really, really I used situations to beat myself up. I found situations that were just unacceptable and tried to fit inside of them and find peace. So, golly. Yeah. I also have realized just recently, the last 7 days have been revelatory, that I've sort of need to admit that I've jumped the groove for the most part of being in this deep duality, that I've been observing it, been pulled into it from time to time just recently, but for the most part I'm just witnessing it. This guy Udamu, that was a gift that I found and unwrapped a couple nights ago. This channel by Zing Dad, a little bit of a galactic history that was very helpful and was actually like, I don't know. I hear that energy and it just that's what prompted me to sort of fall over in my bed in sort of a fetal ball, laughing, realizing that, there it is. I wanted the explanation. I wanted to understand about this teacher stuff. I wanted to understand about what I'm doing here. I wanted to get whether it was okay to be like this, and if what this is continues, is that going to be okay? And am I going to just be all alone, or are people going to come and be around me? I don't have to even worry about that, but it worried me for a little bit. Well, here's the story, Morning Glory. Yeah, when I was being trained by the teachers, they would tell me about this time that would happen when people would be in ascension. And they talked about the 3 waves. They talked about, the first wave waking up, and then turning and helping the second wave, and then together the first and second wave would turn and help the third. And the third, well, that's the group of people who are just basically they're the pains in everyone's asses. Every family has at least one. Every office has at least one. It's not going down like that. It's been bugging me. It's been probably the last 7 days of saying, hey, I need you to show up and help me figure this out, because it's not going the way that I understood it was, and I don't really understand what's going on. I don't understand the next part. It's in the recordings. You can hear it. There's an undertow or an underlying message of completion, but well, here it is. Yeah, they always said there's going to be a group that's going to decide not to decide. They're going to decide that anything that has to do with any of this is not so much nonsense, is not valid or interesting. And that's that. Free will planet. No problem. And then there's this duality engine. And the way that Odamu talked about it was, the service to others group and the service to self group. And the service to others group, excuse me, they're all about harmony. They're all they're all about getting along, but truly getting along. Not putting oneself above anyone else, and living in harmony. Living without conflict. Well, what have I been banging the drum about? My God, that's just what is right? These are the planets where they come from, where everything's just sort of like harmonious. What's the number of harmony? Well, that would be a 6. What's all over my charts? That would be a 6. 6 is everywhere. Harmony, harmony, harmony. Whatever. So, there's that group. And that's really super great if we weren't in third density, if we weren't in duality. This is service to self group, or whatever you want to call it. And these are the psychodrama people. They're the people who, I've been describing at great length and have spent a lifetime ministering to and trying to figure out what the hell's going on around here. Are they like that? Am I seeing this because that's in me? Ooh, that was really kind of a conundrum. But now seeing that this is a yin-yang engine thing, excuse me, what makes a service to other person legitimate? The other. What makes a service to self person legitimate? Well, self. But it's not really that way. That's why I don't like the terminology. That's why I'm not in love with how it's being delivered. Because what I see is it is an orientation of wanting to help the other, wanting to take from the other their pain, and then the other really kind of needing to spread the pain around. And so it's this dance, and I keep seeing this swirl of black and white and of arguing happily with smiles on faces, just bickering, and it's just never ending, because you cannot have one without the other. Service to other? All right then. Right this way. Please, let us introduce you to your compatriot, this wonderful service to self person. And I had a lot of those. A lot. And I thought it was because I was like that. And that was my nature. And that's why I was seeing it so much. Well, yeah. Yeah, anybody who's been around me knows that I have an edge to me. Yeah. Want to know why? You want to take one guess why? Look where I've spent my entire life. Look who I've spent it around. Oh, the stories I could tell about the pathology that I've had a hand in easing. Shift after shift, year after year, decade after decade. So yeah, I'm a little salty. I have very little artifice, and there's not a whole lot that rocks me, and there's not a whole lot that surprises me, but once in a while. And last night, I got surprised by my favorite thing. This sense of soul relief that I get when I realize I've completely misunderstood something. I've been playing with the service to self, service to other, the duality. What is the alternative? Yeah, opting out of the whole thing, but then what's the other alternative? And that's this unity consciousness is what Adamu calls it, which I don't resonate with. It's ascension. It's going from the third dimension where people are bickering at each other and trying to skin each other alive in some effort to prove who is the most loving. I just don't fucking understand most of it. I just don't. All I know is I just love with my whole heart. And I get a lot of boots to my chest, full of force. I'm just not loved back. And I couldn't figure out why. And last night, I've been choosing out of guilt, not really knowing what else to do, choosing to offer myself to people who don't like me, who never invited me in, who don't want me around, who I make uncomfortable, who I make feel small, just because I have a pulse and breathe in and out. And I got that and I realized, wow, what Adamu said really, when I heard, and I heard the teachers, they were poking my ribs as I was listening to that recording. I can guarantee you. You're coming to a time when you make the choice of where you're going to be. And then you're around more of the same vibration. That's what Cran talked about. He cautioned people. I believe it was in 14. Start looking at this. Start opening your heart. Start acting in ways that are loving towards self. Start showing yourself compassion. Start doing what your heart is screaming for you to do. Otherwise, you know what? It gets more and more and more uncomfortable. Because where you're at magnetizes more of the same. And I can see that now. 2017 is different. It's different. And I don't have any doubts. It's not up for discussion even. All I'm expecting is more of this. I'm expecting to encounter a sexual partner who can't get enough of me and is wanting to support whatever I think is really valid and true for me. And who just lights me up from the inside out. And who shows up in my life and understands how important that is to me, to my eyeballs, and to my skin. I already have friends. They've been wondering where I've been. I've been tying up some loose ends, guys. People who seek me out because they recognize that I can help them. And I know now how to. All of this. A demo that one of the things they said on the recording, it was done in 12. And he said, you're coming to the time of the close that what you are doing imprints. What's what you're going to be getting more of. I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I have this encounter with light and bliss in a casino in May, and then on Christmas Eve I have that experience of gold benevolence in 2012. I think that's a nice setup. If that's the setup for me to be this full-on sparkly monk for the rest of my time, well, you know what? If she don't know how to manifest, then who does? So of course I'm gonna of course what makes the most sense for me will manifest in my life, and already has. And so much more than I've reported. There is nothing to worry about. Because I will and am magnetizing more of what and who I already am. And I have spent a lifetime to get to the place where I can tell you that yes, we're in full-on ascension right now. And this is what the training taught me to walk through with a smile on my face if and when the time finally arrived. It's taken a long time for me to convince myself. As such, do you think my feelings are going to be too hurt if you're not convinced? The answer to that is no. If you're a full-on skeptic and you think that everything that's coming out of my mouth is dumb because it has to do with spirit, well then I think you're the fool. But that's just me, because I think skepticism is a lot different than discernment. Skepticism is a knee-jerk reaction that's out of fear and a sense of arrogance and intellectual disinterest. Discernment is different. Discernment is from a place of humility and intellectual curiosity. And understanding that you're on treasure hunts. And that things present in the oddest ways. And to be open to the new. That's the difference to me. So if you're a skeptic, well, I feel bad for you. If you're discerning and you think this is awesome, well, then that's awesome too. I think that's super great. We should probably get together. And if you're discerning and you take one look at this and go, oh my God, well then, alrighty then. There's plenty other channels and people who are, bandying about a spiritual flag to go study. I ain't nobody's teacher anyway. I just felt like yakking. And I figured there might be a couple people who might want to listen. So let me reiterate. For all of my yak and unity consciousness and all that stuff, I'm no one's guru. I'm no one's healer. I'm no one's life coach. Are you kidding me? I'm happy to be a teacher. I have a lot to teach. I'm happy to be a philosopher. That's my favorite thing. Talk about a low-risk profession. Hey, let's go down to the pub and talk about what we're thinking about our thinking. Wanna? I think that's the most awesome job of the world. But, I'm a writer, so I can do whatever I want. I have the ultimate freedom. I do. As a writer, I have the ultimate freedom. I have a responsibility to think for myself. If I'm not doing that, I'm a crap-ass writer. Touchdown! So yeah. That's where I'm at. I'm feeling really good. So I'm not fine. Here's the story. Here's the end result. Honestly, it used to really bother me if people didn't like me. I think that's what my social anxiety is all about. How do people like me? And I used to say it. If I think I'd be a very happy person if I didn't have this need. And then I met somebody who is just inflamed, just like, oh my God, I now that I fit so well with someone, I realize that they have no idea how rare this is for me, A. And B, holy shit, this is so rare, I don't know if I'll ever have it again. Instead of realizing, oh yeah, if this is it's what's being offered now, how can I expect less in the future? Different orientation. That's why I don't think the service to self, service to other thing is quite right. Neither is light and dark. It's the same idea, though. It's a duality. But it gets closer because, that's fine. We can sit and talk about the, sparsely populated area of philosophy, or we could get into the heart of it, which is when one person is looking at another person in the eyeballs and they're not getting along. They're not understanding each other, or they feel as if they're hurting each other. If we don't figure that out, then I don't know what hope we have. And so it's, this sort of lifelong quest of just finding peace in the valley. And shockingly, it comes from just realizing man, oh man, if you're at a place where you're going to put me down or not like me or indeed want to pick at me or insult me or sabotage me or gaslight me or mindfuck me, well then guess what? You just showed your hand. It was nice knowing you. It's just done. Those are all just things that have run their course for me. And really, each and every single one of them you can find on Facebook, and you can find whole studies. The idea of narcissism, the idea of gaslighting, the idea of all of those things, all of that nasty ass behavior, adult bullying, it's all out there. And it's part of the duality. It's part of, I need for you to be okay. Not only with yourself, but with me. That is the service to other thing. And that is the pernicious side of it. And that's what I've been trying to somehow language and then peel off of me. And it's not like that. It's realizing, no, that's part of an operating system, which made sense because there wasn't this option of like popping the groove and ascending, right? Until really recently. So if you're going to pick a camp, the teachers always said, there's a reason why you get crapped on more than you take craps. It's because the one who is being victimized carries a lower karmic load than the one doing the victimizing. The one who's actively, misbehaving and doing so either wantonly or just, knowingly. But they're harming. They're being harmful. They're the ones who are picking up the karma. And the karma is greatly and abundantly dispersed when the person having been victimized can get to the place of not only forgiveness, but then of understanding what the hell, and blessing it and being grateful for it and, discharging it basically. And then that null and voids the whole thing. But oftentimes, in very conflicted situations, people don't get to that place. And that's why the karma continues lifetime after lifetime, you see? Ooh, a correct koan for somebody? Ooh. So I'm feeling so good because it's smoother sailing now. There's a lot that I don't have to keep carrying. There's no cross that I have to dangle from anymore. And there's absolutely not one fight that I have to agree to or participate in. Not one. It's just never been very interesting. And what a pleasure to know that I can it just doesn't resonate. I do have a friend who witnessed this because I was offered the opportunity to either just politely say no, and I've already said no, and so the answer is no, and I wasn't able to be that firm, and she heard me equivocate. She heard the guilt. She heard, and she said, "Well, you're almost there." I said, yeah. I know. Oh well. It'll come. Well, I'm not supposed to do it perfectly the first time, am I? I hope not. You'd think like the 190th time I would have gotten it, but maybe the 191st. Who knows? That's what's going on for me. I'm really feeling very, very good. I'm really convinced that there's something very stupendous going on, and I wanted to share my little slice of heaven with you. Thank you. Namaste.